So now I'm being joined by Paul Cooper. Paul, thank you for joining me. It's great to be here at the event, and it was fantastic seeing your keynote talks yesterday, so congratulations on those. You highlighted some interesting stuff that I want to kind of talk about in this interview, but before we get started, would you mind just giving our viewers a bit of background on yourself?
Yes, so I'm the chairman of the user group. I've been chairman for the last few years. So the user group has kind of a board, and we've then got a significant number of volunteers that chair special interest groups within the user group. And you'll see those, we're all guys in white shirts.
Yeah.
And then around about you'll see people in orange shirts who are our full-time employees. So I'm a volunteer, so I have a day job, head of information systems with Burton's Biscuits. But these 3 days, it's proper immersion into this.
Yeah. I don't know how you pack it all in, so that's very impressive. So yes, yesterday, obviously, we were talking about the annual survey, and there's a lot of great findings that have kind of come out of that. But there were some kind of surprising ones of people kind of having difficulties on that S4HANA journey and kind of bringing it in. People want to adopt it, but there's also the element slowing them down, such as you mentioned in there, the skills issue. I think it was around 71%. So how do we kind of bring that number down, and what is the main issue that organizations are facing?
So I think there's a number of factors at play there. The first one, last year, amongst other things, pressures from user groups like ours and around the world, SAP were persuaded to extend the amount of time available to get the upgrades done from 2025 to 2027, and our big reason for that was the skills and the availability of consultants to work in the space to do that sort of work. I think the other thing that's key for us is that the partners are growing their available consultants.
Yeah.
We need our members to be making sure that the partners are giving them consultants who are appropriately certified in the areas that they're coming into work in. And then I also think it's incumbent on people like myself who head up IT and technical functions and line of business functions is we need to be factoring into our projects investment in training and development for the people that are going to be using the product after the upgrade, and taking them on a journey during the project is really important. And finally, there are some demographic issues coming for people in the IT world, particularly in SAP. You'll notice as you kind of wander around, there's a lot of people who are, in that 10-year bracket on their journey to retirement because they were Y2K people. So we're going to have to start to think about that, both as a user group, how we support our members on that, but as IT professionals, how we're going to fill those gaps.
Yeah, that's very true. And the journey, and I had a similar conversation with Simon about bringing people in and closing those gaps and really making this world as interesting as it is. Me and Simon were both agreeing that obviously this is a never-changing business and you're never bored. So from your standpoint, how would you want to kind of attract that younger audience, but also keep them here as well?
I think key for me is, using different routes in to the teams. So people that have got experience of working with SAP as an end user, bringing those into your teams when you're doing big projects. They know how the business processes work and mapping across in that. So that's one route. And I also think, we've got to do a lot more work to exploit apprenticeship type routes of getting people in, getting them grounded in the business, whilst also doing their technical training on their days at university.
Yeah, 100% agree. So let's also talk about the S4HANA journey. So companies might be starting, or they might already be on that journey. So from your perspective, what advice would you be wanting to give for smooth transitions and real implementation that avoids mistakes at the start rather than through the journey?
I think my first message would be, and a plug for things like user groups, is come and engage in your user group. Come to events like this. We have special interest groups that run where you can hear other customers that have been on that journey talking about their experience. That's a really good place to kind of start your getting your experience. Outside of that, I think, plan it.
Yes.
Think about how it's going to work, what you need to do, what are the the things that you need to consider. Have you got a very customized SAP system? Are you going to need it to be customized in the future, or can you use, you know, the experience that you've got already in the business to drive to more best practice and using straightforward SAP?
Yeah.
So there's lots of things that you can do there. So I think another key thing to consider is change management, and starting that journey up front, taking your users on the journey of what the upgrade's going to be about, what it's going to give to them, what business difficulties it will sort out. And, you know, one of the biggest things that you're going to see is a much better, straightforward user interface. But you're going to need to start people on that journey of understanding what that's going to feel like and look like and do. And so there's a whole plethora of things to think about. So I don't think there's a silver bullet to a successful S4.
No.
But planning, thinking about it, change management, training, and getting rid of your technical debt.
Yes. Is very important. The planning, we can drill that home again and again and again, can't we? So, final question for you then, Paul. Obviously, it's been a great 2 days here. We've been having fantastic conversations about S4 HANA. We've been talking about RISE, general security as well. It's been really enlightening to have this. But for the people who are here today and the people who aren't here today, what takeaways do you really want them to take away from this as they go back to the organizations?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we talked very much yesterday about RISE, and that's what I'd say to people that are thinking about RISE. You need to go and do your homework and research. The devil is in the detail on RISE. On S4, I'd be starting to think about other accelerators and tools that you can use to help that journey, to make it more efficient. But most of all, I'd say actually engage with people that have been on these journeys.
Yes.
And this has been a great opportunity to actually do face-to-face again. And we've, you know, you can hear the background noise, that hub of those sorts of conversations that you can have at events and at special interest groups and so on. You're going to get so much more learning than joining a Zoom call or just reading something on a website. So
Yes.
engage with people that have been on those journeys and see what you can learn from them and take that forward to your own successes.
Exactly. Fantastic advice. Paul, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. Thank you very much, and best of luck with the rest of the show.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
See you soon. Thank you.